Well, Stranger Things didn't really turn out how we thought it was going to be. Like, at all. The finale, the season, just everything. And I wasn't originally going to make this video, but the Duffer Brothers have made it really hard to try and avoid all of the stuff that they're saying because it just keeps making things worse. I don't understand how they go on this publicity tour and it just keeps making fans angrier and angrier. I just don't get it anymore. The latest piece of Duffer Brothers lore is that they were recently on an interview where I'm going to put it up on the screen. They said something along the lines of this. We went into production without having a finished script for the finale. That was scary because we wanted to get it right. It was the most important script of the season. I'm shocked because the one thing that everybody said was that the season was alright, but the finale was what put people over the edge. They really thought that, maybe the season was going to be okay, but the finale was going to make up for it because something crazy was going to happen because the Duffer Brothers hyped up all year long saying that, you're going to want to watch this in theaters, get the best experience, you're going to cry during it, and it was just a huge letdown for those expectations. And for them to say that they didn't even have a plan going into it, people are like, dude, you had 3 years. What do you mean you don't have a plan for this? I'm just genuinely shocked. The only reason I think this is so crazy in the first place is just because of the amount of backlash they've been getting for the things that they've been saying on all of these interview talks the past 2 weeks. And they just keep adding to the flame. I just don't understand what's going through their mind. We all know that you guys didn't have the best writing for the last episode. And we can tell that you kind of forgot about a few key ideas. And that's okay. We can just be angry about it. We can move on. But it feels like they want us to keep on top of this. This quote that I read openly reads out as, we just didn't put enough effort into this last episode. And that really sucks. Because how do you go into a season finale, a series finale on top of that, and not know where you wanted it to end? The biggest thing that's surrounding all of this talk in the first place is conformity gate, because people were so upset by the finale, they thought that, there's no way that was actually it. So they came up with all these ideas that, they're giving us hints and they're doing all these side quests for us. That way we can put together the final clue and then we'll get the last episode. But it wasn't the case. And I could almost believe it just because the Duffer Brothers have gone back in some of their episodes and revised some of the editing. That way it kind of lines up with where the story went. I don't know if that means that was always their plan. Probably not. But they did it anyways. And so we've seen them go back and add details to try and make clues happen for the future of the show. But I guess it was too much to think that they would add details right now and make us have this crazy finale planned out. Which, if it did happen, I think it would have been really dumb. I don't know why they would go through all this backlash of how much people hated it to the point where they had to come up with this whole conspiracy theory about an episode coming out. It's just crazy the amount of, the amount of oversight that this group had. While I'm here, I'll just talk about some other key details that other people pointed out that I talked a little bit about in my video, and some of them I didn't talk about. But the first one is just the military's involvement. One thing I didn't even think about was how much they killed the military guards, especially Nancy and Hopper, and the fact that they all just get let go. I know that I said that the government letting them go in the first place was already crazy, but I didn't even think about how much total kill count that they had, and especially the amount of blame that they put onto 11 for it, and they're harboring her. Dr. K's whole character was very stupid. She was just supposed to be this jerk bag, I guess, and then in the end she didn't even do anything. She didn't die, nothing, just pointless. And obviously the final battle with Vecna was super dumb because we literally saw him in the mid-season finale where he came and just slimed out the whole military army that was in Hawkins, right? And then he goes and, touches Will and says some stuff to him, which didn't even matter in the end because he was supposed to be some spy again, but that never happened. For the military to just get their ass beat. And then all of a sudden this ragtag team of friends goes through the portal to Vecna's home and they just beat him up. How did we get that mid-season part where he's super badass, super powerful, he's jacked or whatever? And then once he's with the Mind Flayer, which is supposed to be this ultimate demon final boss thing, he's weaker than ever before. It was the mid-season finale was the first half of the Packers-Bears game. And then the final battle was that second half where we just saw that Packers are frauds and Bears remembered who they were, I guess. Like, is that what this team was? Like, they just remembered that, oh yeah, we can actually beat them, and Vecna's actually not that strong. The one part of all the hate that they're getting that I will actually defend them on is Millie Bobby Brown's ending with Elle, because people are upset that Millie Bobby Brown is the only one that knows Elle's ending, and I don't even think that that's honestly that bad of an idea. It helps her paint out the character a little bit, but then also it kind of adds to little layers of like her character as to like why she did it. If she had stayed, you know, the military probably wouldn't have gotten rid of them and they would have kept everybody. It's still weird that they just let them all go, but I know for sure that they would have kept hunting her down and all of these people along with her. And so her leaving was probably the best for the group to give them all normal lives again. But what I don't understand is that they showed a huge timeline gap from when the military was there to now they're graduating, military's gone. And so why couldn't Elle have come back? That's my biggest thing, is she could have at least made an appearance or let them know that she's still out there somewhere. But they're trying to play with this idea that she's alive, and they try to make it seem that that was the most likely thing. Yet they don't give any hints to the cast, like saying maybe she is alive and she's trying to reach out, but she won't unhide herself just because she's afraid that it'll cause problems again. I understand, but I didn't like that they didn't make it a little bit more clear. I'm just left thinking maybe she didn't come back because she found another portal somewhere and she's found another group of friends to go fight. It's just so dumb. And then to top it all off, the Duffer brothers keep trying to fight for number one of worst TV show endings of all time. Because going into the season finale, they were talking about how they didn't want to end up like Game of Thrones because everybody knows Game of Thrones ending was not that great. It was pretty bad. Now they're really trying to fight for that spot because in the moment people didn't think that it was that bad. I still don't think it's that bad to that level. Some people might argue it now with all the stuff that's come out. But every single thing that the Duffer brothers keep saying adds fuel to try and make it be like the number one worst ending of all time. And I don't know why that's an award that they want to go for. I mean, I've gotten a lot of participation prizes, and this would probably be the one where I'd love to keep it. But that's beyond me, I guess. One piece of criticism that I forgot to mention earlier was just the Demogorgons and the bats not being involved in the final battle. It's just so dumb because of how the show was built from the Demogorgons. They were the original bad guys, you know, the ones that snatched Will and the creature that helped start it all. And now they're just not even relevant. The last time we saw a live, living Demogorgon that mattered and was actually scary was during the mid-season finale. So it went through a whole 4 or 5 hours with no Demogorgons. They're just not important anymore. I don't understand how they could forget literally their poster child for the finale. It is just really sad though. I really enjoyed the show from season 1 to season 4, and then all of that buildup that they had at the end of season 4, I felt like we were really going to get rolling in season 5, and it just didn't live up to the hype. And everything that keeps coming out every single day just kind of makes me rethink my opinion about the whole season 5 ending and the whole take on the show. It just feels like it keeps getting worse, and just kind of I wish the Duffer brothers would just let all of this anger die out. Instead, they keep saying stuff to try and defend themselves or make them seem less guilty. But it just keeps making everybody angrier and just keeps stirring up the pot even more. I wish they would just back off and leave it as it is. You know, there's no point in trying to keep digging graves. Let it settle. Keep that number 2 spot. You guys don't gotta aim for number 1, and then we can all move on with our lives. Thank you guys for watching the video though. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you all have a great day.